Okay, so Dan Price has just resigned. Let's read up on this little dude. $70,000 CEO Dan Price resigns after allegedly grabbing woman by the throat. Now, Dan Price is one of these good guy CEOs, American entrepreneur and social media personality, co-founder and former chief executive officer of credit card processing company Gravity Payments. As of November 2021, he was the sole shareholder and board member of the company. Now, Dan Price was this dude. He's all over Reddit. People put him in late-stage capitalism. They put him in white people Twitter. They put him all over the place because he's supposed to be the poster child for good guy CEOs. He's known as the $70,000 CEO because purportedly that is the salary that he officially allows himself by lowering the amount of profits he lines his pockets with. He would humble brag all over social media about how all of his employees got great wages, great benefits. They have all the sick time and paid time off that they could ever need. The percentages of employees buying homes, starting families, living decent lives would skyrocket with this company, and they would still remain lucrative, and he would still remain rich. And a couple of subreddits, I forgot which ones in particular, I think it was anti-work, had to make rules stating no more Dan Price tweets. He's still a CEO. They think he's still part of the problem when it comes to wealth inequality, bad conditions for workers, all of that. According to them, no CEO should ever be put up on a pedestal until everything changes in our system. So this particular subreddit eliminated Dan Price tweets, and now it has come to people's attention that, I've heard shit like this before, but now there is an accusation that he outright physically assaulted a woman. I don't know if it's a random woman or someone he was intimate with, but he has officially resigned as CEO because of this. And just like these subreddits are saying, we live in a grab them by the pussy type of society right now. The rich can do no wrong. They get away with all kinds of heinous shit. They'll admit to it on social media. They'll admit to it on national television. If he's the good guy CEO and he truly is innocent, why would he resign? Let's read what some people have to say. Yeah, Sub's favorite CEO. This Sub made a rule against posting his tweets. One reason being his abuse toward his wife. Same thing on white people Twitter. His tweets were awesome and relatable there. Then when the allegations came up, people in the Sub said to stop posting his tweets and stop glorifying him. Now I haven't seen any more of his tweets there in weeks. Apparently he was using a ghostwriter, wasn't even him tweeting. A ghostwriter who was fired from the Seattle Times for sexual harassment birds of a feather and such. They're a good source on this. I never really liked the guy. According to New York Times, the ghostwriter was Mark Rosenberg, who was suspended and then resigned from Seattle Times for sending sexually harassing images. So the tweets aren't his. Thing is, the content of those tweets was right on, speaking truth to power. Not hard to figure out what people following him will like. Anyone else think big corporations are evil and should pay their employees more? Gravity payments, so I assume payment processing. I was always a little dubious about the adoration this guy got, but just sort of ignored it. When push comes to shove, a CEO is going to put business first. I've worked for two quote-unquote cool CEOs in my career, and they both presided over layoffs just like the uncool CEOs do. The cool ones are those that put slightly more effort into conveying to everyone how bad they felt about it. Legit question, were the allegations shown to be true? I remember when this happened and thinking, well, I really don't want to think less of the guy based on an accusation that may or may not be true. I'm withholding judgment. Then I just kind of forgot about him. Recent allegations may or may not be, but he has a very long and storied history of domestic and sexual assault. Situation where one person says you smoke crack, they might be lying. If everyone says you smoke crack, though. New York Times has a story about this subject. How Dan Price's social media, lifting someone out of poverty is the most effective antidepressant in the world, says Dan Price. Social allows him to control the narrative, a former employee. I am tired of being the head of the harem, a former girlfriend. Social media was the CEO's bullhorn and how he lured women. Dan Price was applauded for paying a minimum salary of $70,000 at a Seattle company and criticizing corporate greed. Oh, so minimum pay was $70,000 a year. I don't know if that says much in this day and age, though. Casey Margus, a model and artist, first learned about Dan Price in 2020, the way many people do. Social media posts that celebrated his progressive politics. 5 years earlier, he had propelled himself to an unlikely position for the head of a 110-person payment processing company when he told his employees minimum pay was $70,000. Esquire did a photo shoot. By the time Ms. Margus discovered him, his reputation and following online had grown even more. His self-styled role as the CEO speaking truth about corporate greed resonated with a wide audience. Tens of millions of times his posts have been liked. He joked with Kelly Clarkson on her talk show with Lionel Richie looking on. He introduced Andrew Yang to a Seattle crowd. He video chatted with former Secretary of Labor Robert Reich, who called him the one moral CEO in America. Mr. Price was a young, handsome executive whose worldview spoke to her. Criticized the excesses and arrogance of other business leaders, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, saying the right things about inequality, mental health, and women. After Ms. Margus liked one of his Instagram posts in 2020, Mr. Price, who was 35 at the time, messaged her, "Happy Valentine's Day, beautiful." Margus, who was 27, ignored the message initially, but replied back early this year. "You're wonderful," she wrote. Ooh, I guess that's her. Very pretty. Soon they were talking regularly. Mr. Price visited her near San Diego and flew her back to Seattle. What started as a whirlwind courtship ended 3 months later with an accusation of rape. On Monday, Palm Springs, California police said they had referred Ms. Margus's case to local prosecutors, recommending a charge of rape of a drugged victim. Prosecutors in Seattle earlier this year charged Mr. Price with assault in another incident. Price had tweeted that he resigned on Wednesday evening as chief executive of the company Gravity Payments. He wrote that he had become a distraction and needed to focus full-time on fighting false accusations made about me. There were warning signs, but Ms. Margus did not see them. When she did a Google search, many of the top results for Dan Price were his own social media accounts, along with flattering stories. Buried was the reason he had, for a time several years ago, nearly vanished from public attention. Blah, blah, blah. His story about the pay raises had notable holes, and his former wife had accused him of domestic violence. Mr. Price found an antidote to obscurity, social media. Tweet by tweet, his online persona grew back. Bad news faded into the background, the opposite of being canceled. Just as social media can be used to ruin someone, so too can it, through time, persistence, and audacity, bury a troubled past. Internet fame has enabled a pattern of abuse in his personal life and hostile behavior at his company. Interviews with more than 50 people show he has used a celebrity to pursue women online who say that he hurt them, both physically and emotionally. Ms. Margus is one of more than a dozen women who spoke to New York Times about predatory encounters. Here's one of his recent tweets. Male president was so angry he lost that he incited a mob against the U.S. Capitol. I never want to hear again that women would be too emotional to be president. Social allows him to control the narrative, said Ryan Perkle, who spent almost 7 years running marketing for Price's company. Mr. Price said that he had never physically or sexually abused anyone, and the other accusations are simply false. He added the descriptions of him as a toxic boss were inaccurate. Making Gravity an outstanding place to work is my top priority, and I believe I'm achieving that goal. I first met Mr. Price in fall of 2015. Charismatic messenger. The story he was telling in public didn't add up. He told the media that his brother, who co-owned Gravity, sued him after the wage increase and implied it was retribution for reducing profits. Court documents show that the splashy $70,000 wage announcement took place after the lawsuit was initiated. And that's his former wife. She did a TED Talk where she talked about his abuse. Christy Colon had given TED Talk in October, what is that, Cologne, which he described their relationship as abusive. He got mad at me for ignoring him and grabbed me and shook me again. Ms. Cologne read from her old journal. He started punching me in the stomach and slapped me in the face. She recalled once locking herself in her car, afraid he was going to body slam me into the ground again or waterboard me in our upstairs bathroom like he had done before. Mr. Price said those incidents never happened. That video was never made public. Well, it will be now. Mr. Perkle said that at Mr. Price's direction, he contacted University of Kentucky, which hosted the TED Talk, telling them the presentation could be defamatory. Mr. Price denied that he directed Mr. Perkle to contact the university. Perkle said he deeply regretted his role in preventing the video from becoming public. Ooh, shit. Price lost a $500,000 book contract, and the Hollywood talent agency WME dropped him. Shortly after, Price pulled his staff into a conference room and told them that he protected Ms. Cologne, said she was young and emotional. There was a period of time where she just had a lot of trouble and was acting crazy. I would restrain her, which is not right. Ooh, he ultimately won the court fight with his brother, and the judge found he did not pay himself more than agreed. Mr. Price briefly returned to the spotlight in 2016 when his employees appeared to surprise him with a royal blue Tesla. He teared up and said, "Are you kidding me?" 5 years ago today, our employees bought me a Tesla to thank me for cutting CEO pay 94% so I could pay them at least $70K. Since then, I paid them back with raises close to $100K, and they paid me back again by growing the company. Take care of your employees, and they will take care of you. And there he is. Ooh, nice little Tesla. That was his idea completely, said Perkle, confirmed by Matt Doe, who worked in marketing for 4 years. Mr. Price said that was not true, and the idea some people are trying to soil this cherished memory is deeply hurtful. Alyssa O'Neill, then 21-year-old employee, who people thought had suggested the Tesla gift, said in an interview that one of Price's senior lieutenants actually made the suggestion in a small meeting and told her to take credit. The stunt would get attention from mainstream press. Mr. Price later that year summoned a handful of employees to his home so they could watch a documentary about the attempted comeback of Anthony Weiner, the New York politician, caught messaging sexually explicit photos to young female supporters. Mr. Price reclined in bed, healing from knee surgery, as his staff sat on the bedroom floor, according to several people present. He asked what they had learned about drowning out negative news. He is definitely obsessed with how seemingly you can just become famous, said Mr. Doe, who was there. And that's Doe and Ryan Perkle on the left. Price turned to social media where he could control his message. And with each post about out-of-control CEO pay and stagnant wages, his following grew. But he didn't write most of his posts himself. He hired a ghostwriter, Mark Rosenberg. The former reporter who resigned from Seattle Times after sending sexually explicit messages to a female reporter in Brooklyn. We had employees that were livid about his hiring, said former head of human resources. Price said he uses social media to help Gravity attract customers and employees, saying that I get over 100 direct messages daily. The good boss went viral. More than 24 former employees say that this image, which fueled his clout, was a mirage. You never knew which Dan you were going to get, said Stephen Bennett, who worked at Gravity for almost 13 years. He said Mr. Price was an unpredictable leader. Small incidents would make him snap. Whoa. A chick left because her doctor claimed the work environment was hostile. Before he announced his resignation, Price suggested 9 Gravity employees I should speak with. Most said they don't know him well, enjoyed their work at the company, and described him as a boss who had taken feedback that he could be too forceful. Okay, so Ms. Margus met him at Palm Springs. He was checking his phone. Mr. Price made a call and demanded that Ms. Margus leave their room. Wearing a bikini and cover-up, she protested, but he insisted. For hours, she was locked out, killing time by messaging friends. Drop him, one friend wrote. It's a no from me, dog, another agreed. Mr. Price found her by the pool and leaned in for a kiss, she recalled, but she rebuffed him. He snapped she was not a good listener and didn't understand him. He said it's so hard being him in the world because of his intelligence, she later recalled. Miss Margus returned to room 423. She took an edible to counter insomnia. Mr. Price returned and tried to initiate sex. No, I just took an edible and I'm going to bed. We'll talk about this in the morning. As she drifted to sleep, she felt him penetrate her. She pretended to be asleep, worried he would kill her if she tried to stop him. After he finished, she waited a few minutes and then went to the bathroom before confronting him. Did you just rape me? She told the police, she said. He flatly denied it. She was shaking so bad and could hardly speak, adding that he looked me dead in the eyes and said what I know happened didn't happen. She told Mr. Price she felt pain and had semen inside of her. He began offering excuses. First that he was just using his fingers, then he said just the tip of his penis. I know what you did, she responded. According to the police report, Price boasted that no one will believe Ms. Cologne's allegations of abuse because of who he is and that no one would believe her. He went to the front desk, demanded a new room, and provided what the manager told police amounted to a backstory that his girlfriend felt uncomfortable about falling asleep during sex, so he opted to leave her alone in the hotel room. She texted her friends she might need them as witnesses. She saved the underwear and filed the police report. Holy crap. Miss Margus went to say that Mr. Price had raped her, and she believed Ms. Cologne's every allegation. It wasn't the first time Ms. Cologne had heard from women about bad encounters with Mr. Price. Ah, shit. Attaches CV. One girlfriend who asked I not use her name said Mr. Price would invite beautiful young women he met on Instagram to join them on his yacht, where she felt expected to entertain them. Dude, this guy is looking like more and more of a piece of shit the more I read. I am tired of being the head of the harem, she wrote in her journal. 3 times he had sex with her in the middle of the night without her consent. When they argued, Mr. Price would grab her hand and put a pulse monitor on her fingertip. Her pulse would race, so he would say she was irrational. Mr. Price met Shelby Alexandra Hain. I greatly admire your adventurous spirit, he wrote to her, and you're super hot, LOL, ZZZ. Mr. Price proposed times to meet, but Ms. Hain brushed him off. He tried again. She hoped Mr. Price would provide advice to integrate activism into her art. In January, they had dinner at a restaurant in Seattle where she said they discussed politics. As the restaurant closed, her Uber app wasn't working, and Price suggested they stay warm in his Tesla. He tried to kiss her and grabbed her throat. He did not let go of my throat right away. After I rejected him, she said, he transformed. Mr. Price sped north, driving her to a park and ride. She was scared because he was very drunk. Raced to the top floor, drove the car in donuts and pulled into a spot, reached over to kiss her and grabbed her throat again, his hand pulsing in and out for minutes, the report said. She jumped into her friend's car and took off. Another woman said he snapped and pushed her against the wall and gripped her neck. She said he tried to laugh it off. I just thought this is what girls like.
Mr. Price's lawyer entered not guilty pleas on his behalf. Judge issued non-harassment order until the trial scheduled for October. Damn. He's also a capitalist still. So his whole shtick isn't actually appropriate because it's still glorifying the U.S. status quo. Although enough liberals keep posting nonsense here, so it's not like that rule is strictly adhered to. At least he was nice about it. Maybe that's the point. He's just... Yeah, let's see. Maybe that's the entire point of his shtick. Act like the good guy CEO so he can get away with anything he wants. It's the same dog and pony show we see from all manner of rich, privileged white dudes elsewhere. He's just using a new tactic. Win over the poor masses. By acting like the one good guy business owner. Nah, a new spin. Get everyone to love you and compare you to motherfucking Teresa, and of course, how could anyone believe any of these heinous accusations? By what the article states, everything from the social media accounts to the Speak Truth the Power post to the gift of a Tesla from employees to his respectable words about women is bullshit. Ugh, God. Please get out before I report you. But that's sad. You know what? Forget the CEOs. I know people think that Dan Price was like a diamond in the rough. He was an exception to the rule. And people think that, it showed that businesses can be very profitable when you do the right thing. And of course, nobody's arguing that. But on a personal level, it appears as though Dan Price is just another charlatan. Duping the masses into thinking that he's some great guy and he does it all because he's a great guy, and he's really not. And that's sad. I'm interested in seeing how these court cases go. Well, if that ain't facts, the problem the Republican Party has is they got really stupid people that vote in their primaries. And really stupid people demand to have really stupid leaders. That's where the Republican Party is now. James Carville. Why is Trump receiving preferential treatment on the stolen docs case? His cell phone should be confiscated and searched to see if he photographed the material. His communication should have been monitored to see if he transmitted. Another search should be done at Bedminster. Holy crap. How did I never think to do this? What the hell? Yeah, okay, Miguel. Good luck. After 23 school shootings in 2018, we finally banned straws. America has gotten so anti-intellectual that people are angry at the concept of counting. I don't doubt it, but I would still like to see sources. Bye-bye, orange peel. Oh my God. I want that name now. I don't want to be Erupting Chick. I want to be Bye-bye Orange Peel. I want to be Orange Peel. Damn it. New unsealed Trump Mar-a-Lago search warrant application cover sheet offers the Department of Justice's description of potential crimes: willful retention of national defense info, concealment or removal of records, obstruction of federal investigation. Notice, none of these crimes depend on anything being classified. Okie dokie. It's fucking adorable when old dudes call it McDonald's. Oh, middle-age riot, I love you so much. Republicans reject math books that teach math, science books that teach science, and history books that teach history, which explains why their version of Christianity has nothing to do with the Bible. Oof, conspiracy theorists got owned. Okay. Somewhere between 1959 and 2022, things went terribly wrong. That picture of John Wayne there, I hope you're talking about the fact that all of them ended up with fucking cancer, and it wasn't even because of the 50 billion Marlboros they smoked. It was because they were filming all those westerns on irradiated land. land that had been used or in the vicinity of land that was used for nuclear testing. That's no fucking joke. That is legit true. Dude, that guy right there with the tight jorts and the man bun and the 1800s beard and the sandals right there is living a healthier, freer, better life than this guy on the left. I've already read that by Burn. Twitter suspends Republican candidate who called for violence against FBI. I told you, Miguel. And he's going to whine and cry about it. Because without social media, no one's going to listen to him. Given the fact that quite literally everything conservatives accuse us of doing turns out to be what they're doing, it's going to be a wild day on Truth Social when the news breaks that Trump is a Jewish space lizard. Come on with these overdone freaking tweets. Yeah, you know what? No more sympathy for these people in states like Texas. This one is old. This one is old. Last night on Tucker, he mentioned debating the trans question. Whenever someone's identity is reduced to a question, historically it hasn't ended well when they come up with an answer. The parallels between the attacks on trans community and the Jews of Europe in the 30s are obvious. A constant pounding of dehumanizing propaganda and faux panic meant to make you question whether the existence of the outgroup is compatible with modern society. Very good point. The opposite of Debbie Downer is methamphetamine. There's Dan Price again. Holy fucking shit, Donald Trump had state secrets stashed for a year and a half at his shitty Gulf motel. You don't think someone like Putin or Mohammed Bonesaw hasn't already seen them? Get real. Indictment, arrest, conviction, let's go. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Indictment, arrest, conviction, let's go. Indictment, arrest, conviction, let's go. Imagine if, instead of slapping Chris Rock, Will Smith sat quietly. Then said during his acceptance speech, "My wife has an autoimmune disease that has made her lose her hair. She is beautiful, strong, wonderful, and I love her. Punching down is neither funny nor okay, Chris." That's a good point, too. Ooh, all the Airbnbs in New Orleans, one of the cities with a housing shortage. Wonder where all the housing went. Ugh. The older I get, the more I realize you should never tell your doctor anything. Nothing is private. I told my doctor in confidence I used to use drugs but got sober in 2020. Today I got notified I'm being denied life insurance based off those confidential conversations. No offense, lady, but what do you think they do when you look for insurance? You know, a lot of times you have to speak to their doctors. You have to be tested by their doctors. It's considered a privilege for them to go to your doctor. And if you have a problem, speak to your doctor and tell them there are certain things you do not want divulged. Have a discussion with him about it and tell him what you expect. What? Main problem for communists is if you had the million richest people in America shot, you'd end up with a much more right-wing... What? How the hell does that even make sense? How in the hell does that even make sense? Because the money would be dispersed among workers of the companies? Because it would go into taxes? Government spending projects? Because there wouldn't be any more wealthy people? That's going to turn the country more right wing. I mean, how? Explain it. Boy, Republicans love pretending that they're the party of the common man. You know, right before they start falling on their knees hoping to kiss the ground of Musk or whoever walks on. The right-wing working class is a result of well-funded propaganda over decades by the best in the evil biz. Source, I made it the fuck up. Utter nonsense. Anytime a billionaire dies, people cheer. I think our main problems are capitalists and fascists, actually. Yeah, because they're not rich, right? Those are the exact people we're talking about. Hey Alexa, what is white privilege? White privilege is storming the Capitol building and not getting shot. A whole lot of crazy to unpack here. Which is odder, a doctor doing something so disgustingly unhygienic, or a TV celebrity conman debasing himself over another TV celebrity conman, or a multimillionaire coloring his own hair over a kitchen sink? Dr. Oz kissing Donald Trump's star on the Walk of Fame. I bet he bleach wiped his face after that. Oh, here's that Blackburn tweet about fentanyl seizures up over 200%, and somehow comparing that to a crippled communities across the U.S. because of Biden's open border. Hey, Senator Blackburn, fentanyl deaths in Tennessee increased 583% under your watch during the Trump occupation of our White House. Did Biden cause that too? Ooh. Oh, there's Miguel again. Say goodbye, Miguel. I'm gonna switch the big light on for 1 minute. Fair enough. 60 quid. Ooh, that's a big biker lady. Burn, burn. Given the many crises we face, it is absolutely imperative that people continue to be engaged and stand up for economic justice, social justice, racial justice, environmental justice. You can't back down. Now is not the time to give up. This is the time to fight back. Man, I love Burn Burn. Trickle down does not work. The stock portfolios of the top 1% are now worth $23 trillion. And they own a record 53.9% of individually held shares. So when is all that wealth going to trickle down? I'm in favor of this. I'd much rather take gay algebra. Moms for Liberty activist wants LGBTQ students separated into special classes. She said these students are, like, for example, children with autism, Down syndrome, and should have specialized classes. Well, here's a mom that deserves to be cell phone recorded, blasted all over social media, and made to lose her entire livelihood. And I ain't kidding. Yeah, I heard about that shit. Some crazy fucking people out there, I tell ya. Really crazy fucking people. It is driving me nuts. I mean, I love current events. I love political humor. I love all that kind of crap. But, you know, it's like what people say about how Facebook is bad and it's ruining people's self-esteem and making them depressed. I mean, it's good to keep abreast of this stuff because it's real life things going on in your government, in your hometowns, in your town hall meetings, and whatnot. But it's enough to drive you batty. These crazy fucking people out there. And once again, Burn is right. You can't stop fighting. There is no speaking to these people. There is no logical discourse with many of these people. Getting to a common ground with right-wing extremists is just never going to happen. I kind of agree with Bill Maher. Someone on the left needs to be just as ruthless from a different direction as these people are on the right. Like, be a Gestapo in their own right, but for giving people health care and eliminating proselytization and all kinds of obvious prejudices and racial biases against trans people and minorities, women. Someone's got to step up and bring the banhammer down on these extremists. I don't know. I gotta eat. I'm hangry. So, I will see you guys later. Maybe play some more games. Mwah, mwah.